Welcome to a world of high fantasy, where heroes range out performing daring deeds of do. Wizards casting magical spells, the likes which the gods themselves have never been able to dare perform. Dragons holed up in their lairs, treasure, gems, and magic items. I'm sorry, what? Literal hellgates have opened up all over the lands? Okay, well, I mean, the heroes will stand up and take... What is... Are you telling me to... Oh, that they were beheaded. Oh, worse? Really? Well, who's gonna... Nobody? Oh, crap.
Hey! Hello, once again, to another installment of Mid-Dice Crisis!
Science. All right. Cool.
As you know, we are a bunch of middle-aged people trying to live our best fantasy life in D&D. Well, they're trying to live their best fantasy life because I am kind of throwing things at them that might end that.
Well, we're just trying to live.
Yeah.
Right.
But we are a person short again tonight. Unfortunately, life has its thing. It keeps inserting itself into what should be our lives. But having said that, the rest of us are here. The rest of us are eager. And if you're eager to hear, you're going to have to wait a few more seconds because we have our YouTube site. We're on Twitch. We are on Twitter. We do we have Insta? I think I asked that before. Instagram.
Yes.
We obviously, if you want to comment or have a question or concerns, or maybe there's a recipe that you might want to drop us, because I'm all about that. I like that. I will happily make recipes that you send. I'm sure our resident gnomish chef Rusty would also be interested. But other than that, let's get into what was going on last campaign. Oh, two of you died for like a minuscule moment in time. One due to falling through shards of glass into a kind of a temporal vortex pocket dimension, otherwise known as Davidos Busby's refrigerator, where he keeps all the people that have ever accidentally or intentionally invaded his home. You survived by the skin of your teeth because Rihanna, as a red panda, decided she would jump after you in the most adorable red panda way. Beans flying and just, yeah, that was adorable.
To be fair, I was trying to jump over the hole.
You were, but red pandas aren't quite known for their jumping prowess, and it was an 8-foot stretch. So yeah, you went after him. There was a lot of lore dropped. Let's see. Oh, and of course, Rihanna died momentarily because turns into a giant ice spider and goes click clack, trying to give one of her party members a hug through a closed or an open door. And unfortunately, he has this thing about spiders. He doesn't like them. So one good solid swing of a hammer, and one of Riona's canines, her left canine, is no more. It's scattered somewhere in the bowels of the underground area of Davidos's treehouse. Unfortunately, that upset quite a few people, and Davidos included. He dropped a bunch of lore about what he knew of Riona's parents, and Riona's wanting to send him a cursed letter saying that she died, and lies, build relationship on lies. Not that your dad did that. Anyway, so as he's starting to give you more information, he starts writing on this chalkboard. The script flies across the darkness of this chalkboard before his hand even gets to it, and it started swirling and forming patterns. And unfortunately, some of you were not able to resist the spell's potency, we'll say. Some of you, Riona, Torsten, are sitting there going, oh, this is neat. It's like a show on a screen. If only there was an invention that you could do that with. But the rest of you found yourself standing in a unnamed town. Your boots caked in mud. The smell of, we'll say, less than sanitary plumbing in this area. And the bitter cold biting at you as you see four figures who turn to look at you. One, a younger Davidos Busby. Two, an elderly man missing a couple of limbs and fingers. You're not sure what all he's missing, but obviously missing quite a few things. There was a bushy red-haired woman clad in green leathers with glasses, holding a wand, and also a much broader shouldered, spine straightened, younger looking Justice, otherwise known as Riona's dad, who all looked in your direction, and that's where we left it. Torsten, Riona, as you are looking at this, they are looking at you through the blackboard as Davidos is talking. But though you know he's talking, it's almost muffled as he's speaking. You can hear the clomping of hooves as passing wagons go by in the scene. You can almost hear the buzzing of flies and the swish of their tails as they swat at them. Busby's voice getting more and more muffled as he turns and talks to you. You know he is directing what you are seeing, but it's more than that. Your senses are just in that moment. The rest of you, including Haskar, who unfortunately is not with us tonight, find yourselves standing deep in the muck and mire of this cold, smelly village. And as they look at you, Riona's father, Justice, speaks up. So how far? About that time, a man clad in armor walks through your bodies towards them. And as he takes off his helmet, he's like, they're not far. Most of them did not survive. We managed to grab some of my troops and bring them back for a proper burial. Burn them. When they get back, set them on a pyre and burn them. We can't have them infecting anyone. Scrack. You are an owlbear in a weird location, surrounded by people who are not afraid of you. What are you doing?
I'm checking out my companions. Everybody okay?
You do not see Torsten or Riona.
Crap. I am going to get up and start walking out of view of any of the townspeople. So if this is like a main street, I'm going to try to get between some buildings and get behind stuff and get out of sight.
All right.
I anticipate people trying to kill me.
It's strange that you find yourself suddenly in this area, and there are people about. You were close to one.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, none of them are paying you any attention. As you look around, the streets are, for the most part, bare. There are women and children crying. There are boxes, elongated boxes that are propped up. Various symbols of deities carved on them, as best as they can in a short time. You can tell it was hastily scratched into the lids.
Can I touch if I try to touch things, is it solid? Is it real?
Investigate.
All right. I have to successfully make an investigation roll in order to touch a thing.
Not necessarily.
Oh, I'm just,
I like failures too.
You might successfully knock it over.
Yeah. All right. Investigation, no bonuses. And where's my dice roll? There it is. All right. I rolled a 3. So
Okay.
I'm clearly not cognizant of the fact that like people are ignoring me or whatever, but does my hand pass through these boxes?
You walk up to a stack that are leaning up against one of the buildings that has seen better days.
Uh-huh.
And as you raise one of your clawed paws, it passes through there and it almost takes you aback. You stumble a little bit as it happens. Your paw goes through, and as you move forward suddenly, your face passes beyond the exterior of the box, and you see a young human, can't be more than 14 years old, with large chunks taken out of exposed flesh.
I don't like the look of that. Are they inside? They're inside the box?
Yes.
They're inside the box, and can I touch them?
Your paw went through the box.
Yeah.
And all the contents therein. Your face went through the lid, and what little light is in there due to the cracks and crevices of a quickly made coffin of sorts, you can see the body.
All right. I'm going to look around. Where was Riona's father? Was I able to hear what he was saying?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go follow him.
Okay. Rusty, Daisy, what are you doing?
This armor-clad man, do I recognize him?
Roll a history.
14.
14. So he's not anyone that you know, but there is an insignia on his left pauldron, etched into the armor itself. It is a crest, looks like a shield, 2 crossed swords, and a helm at the top.
So this man He's not a centaur, right?
No,
So he's not the centaur for disease control.
I'm afraid not. Are you sure you're not a bard?
Not this time.
Not this time. Daisy, are you investigating anything?
Yeah, I'm looking around and just trying to figure out what the hell happened and trying to remember if I drank anything or finally ate those mushrooms I had in my pouch. Trying to figure out where the hell we are, and I'm gonna walk over to where Scrack is and make sure he's real and that this isn't some kind of really bad hallucination.
Okay.
Good plan.
As you make your way over to Scrack, you do see that anything within your field of vision that you could physically interact with passes through you harmlessly. You all hear as Riona's father, Justice, walks towards the horse and the carriage, or sorry, not carriage, cart that had passed a moment before. You see him as he loads some small barrels, very familiar looking, as well as torches.
Hey, Scrack. Do you know where we are? Did
No.
we fall down a hole or? Well,
I
damn,
don't,
that
I-
sounded real.
I don't think this is real.
Are you sure? Cause are we still in the tree? Did we leave the tree? Where the hell's Davidos?
I think we're in an illusion of some kind.
Where's Riona? And Torsten, should they not be with us too? I mean, it's kind of a mass hallucination. Rusty, what
know.
about you? What do you think?
He wanted to show us something. I don't think it's an illusion. I think he's showing us a memory.
Well, it looks like they're gonna blow something up. That could be fun. I guess we should follow. Maybe learn something. What do you guys think?
Is there any landmarks that I can see that would indicate that this is still Jessup's nest?
So it is definitely not Jessup's nest. It is much more sparse. It is very flat as far as the eye can see. The only thing that might give any type of landmark, it looks like there's a cluster of black trees far off in the distance.
It's correct. Do you recognize those trees?
I look off in the distance. Do I recognize them?
I walk up to Skrek as he's looking
Yeah.
and put my hand on him and take a good close look and cast guidance.
Okay.
All right. What does guidance do?
A +4 on any roll.
Plus 4. Okay.
So Skrek, as you narrow your eyes a bit,
I've got excellent vision.
you do. Excellent vision and sense of smell. And you smell delightful.
Why, thank you.
These do not look like normal trees. They're very gnarled and twisted, and none of them reach skyward. They go from the trunk to the branches and back to the ground. Your eyes can discern that not just the branches, but the trunks themselves, they have sharp spines on them.
Those are evil looking trees. Those are not normal trees.
As Justice Hyreth makes his way to the front of the cart, having loaded all the barrels and torches, he is helping the elderly man climb aboard the front. You see Davidos hesitate for a moment as he looks at the front bench and then kind of, I want it up there, but then he climbs up awkwardly in the back. Justice walks around, talks to the horses for a minute, pressing his head against their forehead. And then he walks to the other side and holds out his hand as the red-maned, green leather-clad woman takes his hand and with a little smirk jumps without his aid up into the seat. He kind of smiles and nods, and he climbs into the back with Davidos. He looks over at the man in the armor. You'll know when we're there. Just pray that we come back. And remember what I said. Burn any and all who were touched. At that time, the woman flicks the reins and the horses begin to walk towards the trees. Torsten, Riona, as you're watching this, you blink a little bit and realize that your friends are just as transfixed as you. They're sitting there, mouths agape. Their eyes seem to be a little glazed over.
Oh, scrack. Just like,
Finger goes into fur and feather and hits warm flesh.
okay, they're still here.
Okay,
Not taking
so
my eyes off the board.
we're all actually standing next to each other. That's good.
Yeah, it's like we're just kind of touching each other without looking, keeping our eyes on the board.
Do I feel her poking me? Do I feel a poke?
Roll perception for me.
All right.
I reached down just like absentmindedly, and
Is guidance still active?
It should be.
Okay, so that would be a 16.
16. You definitely feel something poking your side, and you're like,
I just like absentmindedly reached down and grabbed Riona's hand.
Yeah, we're just standing there holding hands, and I reach down, I grab Daisy's hand. I know she's there. Then I reach back, I grab Rusty's hand. Like I'm holding everyone's hand, squeezing it, letting them know they're there, but not letting go of Torsten's hand.
okay. So
Because he's the only one responding.
he is the only one responding, and each of you in turn do feel some type of interaction that is a phantom feeling, shall we say?
Like your hand went numb.
Yeah.
Not
So I
so
tell
much that.
Daisy
You
and
feel the
Rusty.
pressure. You feel the pressure of your hand being squeezed by another hand, but
We're
there's no
not
one there.
actually here. We're seeing something. We're in a dream.
You know, whenever I tell people shit like this, they think I'm crazy.
Rusty, you are crazy, but
Yeah,
this
That's
time you're
not
actually
the
right.
point.
both of those things can be true.
I'm telling you, you're
We
right.
Need to
'Cause-
wake up.
I looked from Shrek to Daisy. Daisy, slap
Yeah.
me.
Oh, I've been waiting for this. Smack!
Oh, you definitely feel it. And Riona or Torsten, if you want to make a perception check.
This ought to be good.
Mhm.
Yeah, I want to see this. Let's see. Perception. Oh, 23.
23.
Oh wow.
I am perceptive tonight.
And I rolled a 14. So
So both of you who are watching this, Rusty is just in front a little bit, being one of the smaller party members.
Mhm.
You see his head just go, psh, and as you kind of look around, you see a red welt in the shape of a hand.
This is why I didn't ask Shrek to hit me.
Are you okay, sweetie? I didn't mean to hit you that hard.
Am I,
Haskar.
am I still in the visit?
Haskar
vision?
is, yes, you're still in the vision. Haskar kind of looks at you all. Funniest thing I've seen in a while.
Just for a little bit of flavor, I'm going to keep grabbing each person's hand for a moment. And then I touch them, I druid craft a vine off of them, and now they're connected to me. So everyone is vined to my hand in case they try to leave.
So you're going to marionette them.
Yes. So everyone is attached to my wrist. And Torsten, I'm sorry to say this, but you are like literally handcuffed. Like our hands are like this. And it's like this. You're not going anywhere.
The
Safety
worst
net.
horror movie date ever. They will not let you go so you can eat your popcorn. Got it.
Mhm.
I look down. I look down. I look at you. I don't remember agreeing to a hand fasting, but okay.
Flowers.
As you are doing this, Davidos looks at you a little sternly, and you can't hear it, but you feel as the sound waves hit you as he's snapping his fingers, almost like a disturbance in the air. Rusty, Daisy, Scrack. As you look forward at the road and the wagon with these four individuals, everything blurs super fast towards your face, and you see the old man holding tight his staff and muttering something as a large wave of earth comes up against this gnarled black tree that is in the center of this field of bones. The forest is around all of you, but there's a wide swath of area that is not forested at all. Just the tree with its limbs dipping back down into the earth and vines hanging off of every limb. The old man shouts something you can't quite understand. You hear Davidos yelling something about fire. You see the green armored clad woman trying her best. As green energy comes out of her eyes and hands, she rises both in the air with her U wand and is screaming something, and it's almost just an echo as this loud bell sound is ringing in your ears. Earth is being shattered everywhere. You see as Justice is trying to ignite a torch. Vines begin to creep down along the ground, snagging up Riona's mother. You see the vines themselves sprouting these red thorns and just gouging into her flesh as the ends of the vines open up to these toothed maws, and she's trying to keep them from biting into her flesh. The thorns are sticking out of the back of her hands as she's holding back the toothy maws. You see as the old man screams something again as he is flung backwards by a vine. The spell he was casting to move earth fizzles out and it just falls flat at the tree. You see Riona's father look over at Riona's mother, and as he grits his teeth, he starts hitting the flint harder and faster. finally he just takes out a knife, and as he runs at the tree, he jumps up in the air trying to avoid all the vines. The knife flares into a burning red hot metal blade, and as he plunges it into one of the barrels that are still fairly close to the tree, your vision turns white.
Boom.
Daisy, Scrack, and Rusty, you find yourselves with the feeling of warmth on your faces. And you hear as Davidos says, and that's where it really turned bad. You're all back in Davidos's home, in your own bodies. Oddly, with these vines wrapped around you.
It's a safety net.
We weren't going to lose
I
you.
didn't realize I needed.
I did not give consent for this.
Yours is more like a leash, like one of those doggy leashes,
Mhm.
a kid leash.
Monkey on its back.
Haskar kind of looks down and he's like, oh, lass, you know I don't like being tied down. He starts snapping some of the things off. What happened then? Davidos looks at you. With a wave of his hand, he clears the board. As I said, that's when it really got bad. I woke up, found myself covered in all manner of plant life, or at least pieces of it. I don't know where Max went. I did not see him again. I'm assuming he got dragged into the earth. Your mother, he looks at you, Rihanna. She was wounded. She was unconscious. And she had a branch of that tree in her hand. She would not let go of it. The thorns embedded so deeply in her hand. We were afraid to remove it. Your father, oddly enough, unscathed. He put his hand on my shoulder, and when I could hear his voice again, he simply told me it was time to go. He picked your mother up, placed her in the cart, made certain the rest of that tree was on fire, and we went back to the town.
I feel like you sold me a book and ripped out the middle of it, giving me the beginning and the end, but I'm missing the main chapters.
That's the wonderful thing about books. It always leaves you wanting more.
Can I ask a question? What the hell was that tree?
I recognize that. That's a nope tree.
You're
A
right,
nope
it's a nope tree. Is that a nope tree that's still in existence?
Well, I mean, the forest that it spawned is still in existence. Not anything we can really do about that. Those trees don't really ignite too well. If you walk up to one of them, it's only the spawn of that tree, but if you try to cut into it, it bleeds like any humanoid or animal. If it has vines, they do their best to take those as quickly as possible before they mature into something more. But the main source was dealt with. It's, as far as I know, still just a crater.
Was it created by magic?
No one really knows exactly. The only problem is those who were bitten by it, for the most part, they died. However, those who survived became infected. They began
So,
sprouting
were the people?
leaves.
That they were saying needed to be burned in the mass hallucination we just watched?
Well, I mean, history can be a mass hallucination if you really think about it. But yes, everyone who had been bitten had a chance of being, shall we say, the pod of a seed that would germinate and sprout more of those.
My mom was stabbed. She wasn't bitten, correct?
Correct. She was only, shall we say, inconvenienced. I think the majority of the damage that was done by justice. Unfortunately, and he felt very bad about that. But I don't think she ever truly forgave him. We had a plan, but things got out of hand, and suppose he saw that as a solid plan B.
Where did this take place?
It took place northeast of here, just past the mountain range. There's a small, well, there used to be a small town. I believe they've mostly abandoned it. There might be one or two holdouts still, but and no game ever came back to those woods. It's almost as if that tree just became a gangrenous spot on a map.
I think I passed those woods on my way here. Just felt wrong to be anywhere near them.
Was it always cold and felt desolate at all times?
And that I wasn't alone.
Oh, you're never alone. Who knows how many people had fallen to its hunger? You wouldn't think a tree would be that hungry.
Well, it's got to be more than a tree, so
Oh, it was. You get too close to it, it would pick you up, bind you, put its tendrils into your flesh, pierce you with its thorns, drain you slowly, and if there were others, it would try to do the same thing for them, and until it was nothing but bones and waste.
I mean, to be fair, I know a particular brasser that used to do the same thing, but only on Thursdays.
Just when I think
Where
I'm
is
about
this
to like
tree?
you.
Where is this tree?
Did you say what is or where is?
Where?
As I said, northeast of here, beyond the mountain range. It's fairly easy to find. There's a trail, once you get past our main kingdom, that goes into those mountains. Just keep heading on the north trail. It leads you out fairly easy. It's more of a goat trail, really, but people have used it. Can't get any large wagons up there, unfortunately. But there's not a whole lot of people to trade up there with anymore.
I am confused, Mr. Busby. I asked you about the symbol and the charm, and you showed me my father blowing my mother up.
Yes.
And you said this would explain more because you couldn't tell me. So are you telling me that the draft is a cult that follows that symbol? Because right now we're dealing with a cult that follows that symbol. I'm very confused, sir.
I haven't gotten to the point, Riona, dear.
No, you just showed me a story of dead bodies and trees sucking life and blowing up.
To prepare you for what your parents did.
You did it too.
I did, and those were the halcyon days when I was young and spry.
Time was not kind to you.
Oh,
What did
Thank
what
you.
did her father do that her mother was so upset about and never forgave him?
Blowing her
Rescuing
up.
her? I mean, there
I
was something we missed.
I neglected to show you what I could not see. You see, that tree, it grew in the middle of a battlefield. It's where the peoples of that region would go and have their wars. Not a lot. It was an even playing ground, if you will. The field was flat, and there was no growth. Countless wars have been fought there, all in the name of making everything fair game and fair play, if you will. But as the earth soaked in more of the blood of the fallen, something dark came and set root.
Oh, that is a lot of death and anger.
It is.
It doesn't surprise.
But getting back to Riona's question, and he holds the charm that is around his neck. We keep these. These were originally just what the draft wore so we could identify each other. But they became more. My friend Maxwell, he enchanted them, you see. And we could always speak to each other and hear each other, no matter how far away we were. Your mother was not trying to destroy the Black Forest or the tree that was in the center of its growth. She was there to rescue a dryad. I'm assuming as this land changes over the millennia, perhaps it was once a grove.
A grove of dryads?
Oh, my dear boy. How old are you? 13? 14?
Right. Ripe old age of 22.
Oh, that is old for a human. My condolences.
Turning 22 in a couple days. What are you saying?
I don't know about human lifespans. I'm sorry. Actually, that's a lie. I do know about human lifespans. I just don't care. However, the thing about this world is it's in a constant state of flux. Where there were mountains in one area, millennium later, it's an ocean or flat plains, desolate wastes, a swamp. Could be nothing at all, just a chasm of darkness. You never know. This world has magics that we are not quite attuned to. I have several books on it if you're interested. But getting back to the amulet for Riona's sake, it's been rather inert. A couple of years later, no one used it anymore. I've tried, but the magic's still there. It's just no one's listening.
They don't have it anymore. It's
It's
been
a
lost or
possibility.
put away.
But what about the copies?
Well, there were only 4 of ours anyway.
That's what I'm saying. What about these copies that are being worn by the people posing as the Brassers and
Skinwalkers.
yeah.
If there are more with this particular symbol, perhaps the old order has returned stronger.
And when you say old order, you mean the draft, right? The good guys?
They were once, in my opinion, and many other people's opinion, they would go out and find artifacts of the most egregious and salacious and just decadent powers, and they would run about and they would go and delve in mines and then caverns, or they would climb to the top of mountains and retrieve these artifacts, and they would destroy them for the most part, because no one person should be allowed to have this type of power at their control and command. But there is one item that bound us all together to do this. It's and I'm afraid I have the sin on my heart. We did come together because of one of these artifacts. It focused us, gave us heightened our abilities. Some had dormant abilities that were awakened like a blossom in the spring. Others, they just became obscenely powerful. So much so they got a lust for it. That's when we 4 knew that perhaps we should take things into our own hands, as it were. You see, there are 9 in total, that we know of anyway. And as he's talking, he's just spinning the ball between the talons of the dragon foot. There are orbs that ancient winged beasts, their essence, their souls, if you will, went into these orbs. We only found the one. And when we touched it, it spoke to us. It awakened my desire for more knowledge. And I became an octomancer. I'm sorry, young man, you're nodding like you understand. Octomancer, this uses magic, dealing in ice and wind and cold.
Does it also include necromancy?
Only for that which may have found itself ceasing in said ice, yes. But I swear upon everything that I hold dear, which is mostly in this room, I did not do that to your extended clan.
Somebody did. Somebody with the same abilities as you.
I'm sure I did not. If anyone has that power or latent ability who may have touched the orb, perhaps you should be looking at them.
I don't know anybody with the same latent abilities as you have shown. How would I find them?
Let me ask you this. In a very short amount of time, I have had a group of people come to me and really fuck me up. They showed me something I did not like, and they left me. More to the point, I left them. I told them I didn't want anything more to do with them because what they had, I did not want. And they had something that I could not quite figure out. It was a glyph. But in that short amount of time, over the last few days, it's like the fates have started pulling at the very strings, the weave, if you will, that binds all of us together and protects the world. Have any of you in the last few days experienced such differences in your lives?
You basically just described how I met all of these people.
Nothing has been normal the last few days of our lives.
I can do this now. Produce flame.
That's why we all look as confused and angry as we are.
As you go produce flame, your fire comes out of both of your palms, bright green.
Bright green.
Interesting new color, Riona.
That's new.
I've seen that color before.
I recently just saw that color too.
My dear, your mother, she, how shall I put this, was rather salty about your father. She looked at his brash action as giving up on a greater good. They never saw eye to eye after that. However, a short time later, your father sent me a note. He had acquired some land near here, your farm, I'm sure. Said that he was going to lay low for a while. Do not contact him, which of course I immediately went out there against my own better judgment because I don't like leaving this place, but I hadn't seen him in years. And do you know what I found?
A man on a farm?
He looks over at Scrack. She always the stroll.
She's just like, I'm just backing away. Like, I don't know. You found a plot of land.
I found him on this farm, but I did not recognize him immediately. His hair had grown out. He had grown a beard. He was hunched, frail looking. And I found you. He had you swaddled up, holding you and talking to you, telling you about the birds, the trees, and the flowers. You were just this little thing.
Oh, I bet she was adorable, that
She
little
was
red hair.
stinking cute. I couldn't stand her.
Yeah, I'm reading the typo now.
Well,
But he released you and you toddled off, chasing a butterfly and a very scared-looking baby llama. He didn't even turn around when I called his name. He just simply said, "Leave us alone. It's just me and Riona." He refused to do any jobs that I sent his way. Honestly, I haven't heard from him in many a year.
And then 5 years ago, out of nowhere, he hears whispers and takes up a job and leaves?
I mean,
That didn't strike you as odd?
my dear girl, do you not realize how much has my attention at this moment?
For someone who claims to be friends with my father and friends with my mom, you didn't notice it odd that he just up and left and said, "Don't find me, don't look for me, don't care for the child I'm leaving alone." Just,
Firstly, you are not a child.
I
Secondly-
was a child.
Secondly, your mother may never have forgiven him for whatever transgression she believed he had made, but she did leave you with him, and I am assuming, because you seem to have some knowledge in that bowling ball of a brain of yours, that you did all right. And thirdly, I have yet to forgive him.
And let's be real, Riona. Lord Davidos here doesn't seem like he's always been the most connected to everything outside of this tree.
No, you are very right. He is very self-centered, focused on himself, not caring for anything outside of his little world.
That is correct, and I have fought hard to become that way. Thank you very much.
You say you don't know the location of her father, but what about the other members of the draft?
I don't know the location of Justice. He has a knack, shall we say, of not being found when he doesn't want to be. However, I do know of where Max is.
Where is Max?
As I said, I thought he was probably swallowed by the lands. In fact, I kind of expected it. He's a man who is very full of sunshine and daisies and a rosy aesthetic, shall we say. Very much a lover of life. But I've seen his eyes. He holds some dark secrets that he never even spoke of. However, I don't know why you would want to know where he is, but I know where he is.
I would like to know where he is because for a man who knows so much, you have given us very little answers. And maybe he has more answers than you do.
I'm sorry, did I not tell you about your father being in the draft? Your mother being in the draft? Let's see,
You've
should have
told me their
visited them,
past.
why we have their rings on, and the...
Mr. Busby, I'm very grateful for the knowledge you've given us, but you've not given us the answers we need. You have given us the answers you know. And what we need is to find out why people are getting turned into ice skinwalkers using the talisman, and maybe the fact where my father is. Can you answer any of those? No?
30 years ago, there were skinwalkers. We never had a chance to investigate. They were handled by another department. As far as why people are showing up as frozen death sickles, I mean, as I said, it's possible someone else is an octomancer.
Do you happen to know anyone who would have that kind of power that you can point us in a direction
It is,
besides yourself?
one would say it is a very special talent.
Unique.
So, the group I showed you, we were, shall we say, our own division. We were known by another name. I was known as the Tome. I rather enjoyed that. But officially, my name was Boria. And,
You're definitely boring.
oh, thank you. Justice was also known as Notice. Maximilian. Zephyrus. And your mother was known as Urius. We were known as the Anemoi. And we were hunted by the very people who hold those necklaces. So if you are finding those about the city, maybe I should be scarce. Maybe your father noticed before I did.
We found them mostly on brassers.
One particular
time.
brasser as a dwarf with no beard.
And a very nasty attitude.
A dwarf with no beard.
Yeah, he wouldn't accept my hug.
Do you normally just... Never mind.
I hugged you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, she
you
does.
did.
Yes.
It's
She seems to have boundary issues.
It's
very
infectious.
uncomfortable.
Yes, like a rash. Yes. So, if let's see, how many have you come across recently in the last year or so?
How about the last 48 hours?
Just in the past few days, we have
We're up to what, 2, maybe 3?
3.
I
3
believe it's 3.
that we know of.
Yeah, that we
that
actually
we've seen.
Oh,
we can guarantee.
well, that's exciting. Very
Yes.
well.
You're gonna run, aren't you?
Don't
Yes.
move.
Oh, you were about to tell us where Max was?
Riona, little lasso around the waist of the vines and stuff. Maybe, I don't know, hog time so he can't go anywhere.
Oh, sweet, darling little... I'm sorry, I can't remember your name. That's not a good idea, especially in my own home.
I'm gonna kneel. I'm gonna put my hands out, taking his hand, just one. I'm gonna look at him, and I'm just gonna look at him and say, growing up, I found a book, and written inside the front page, I was never able to tell whose handwriting it was. And it said, never be cruel, never be cowardly. Always try to be nice and never forget to be kind. Laugh hard, run fast, but be kind. If you have to run, can you at least leave us with information?
I can do something. Are you all going to pursue this, or are you going to do the right thing, the intelligent thing, and run?
Do we look like an intelligent bunch to you?
I
Well,
never accused you.
I want to go home, but I'm not leaving her until we figure out what this horse shit is, because I don't want it following me back to my forest.
And I'd like to find Max, because maybe he has some more answers that he's keeping a secret.
Well, if he's still alive... How long do humans normally live?
They're like dogs, right? It's 7 to 1 for gnome years?
Something of that nature.
We can live to be in our hundreds, depending, but you know, the smart ones die when they're about 50.
My father said that he once met a human who lived to be 125.
Interesting. So he pulls his hand out of yours, and you find that your hands are very cold. There's even a little frost on your new gauntlet. He walks over to a table, opens up a couple of containers, pulls a few things out, walks over to a what looks to be a very nice gold inlaid barrel, starts sifting through all these scrolls and parchments, and pulls out a large rolled up piece of parchment, walks back to one of his work tables, starts moving some papers around, starts trying to sort a few things, comes back over, and he's like, I loved your mother. She was one of the most intriguing specimens of righteous indignation I've ever known. You have some of her in you. And he kind of smiles and nods. And he walks past you, grabs something out of a case, glass case, walks back to you. This belonged to Justice. And he holds out a very nice curved bladed dagger.
Is that the one that got really hot and can catch things on fire?
No, my dear, that is not.
Oh,
I'm
well, that's not fun.
not quite familiar with all of his tools, but should you need it, I'd rather you be armed. He hands you the dagger with the sheath. He walks up to Scrack, and he's like, if I may, and he pulls out a chain, which is a very thin silver chain, and it has a small, it is a diamond shape that is made out of what looks like silver, but it's very decorative and hollow. May I?
Oh,
Does his best with his short little arms around your big head. You, boy, the blinky one. You, points over at Rusty.
I haven't known the blink, yes.
I do have something for you. He pulls out a small quart vial. He's like, this is for you. If you have any of those, shall we say, hallucinations again, I want you to drink this. Okay? Fix you right up. Promise.
All right.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Holds out the rolled up parchment to Torsten.
I take the rolled up parchment and unroll it.
Not in here!
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding. It's only a map.
Oh, wonderful. I open it up.
So it is a basic map, nicely done. You can see where you are on the coast. You can see the mountain range to the northeast. You can see the main castle and mansions and palace of your land that is adjoined or affixed to the city of Jessup's Nest. It's nice square map, no holes in it. well preserved. Walks over to Daisy. I don't like you.
That's a shame because I was hoping that we were going to fall madly in love and have lots and lots of children.
Fine. The rest of you go. Me and Daisy will go and get our nuptials nuptiated and
Be the
I'm
most
joking.
exciting night of your life. I promise.
yes.
If you
Yes.
wait until tomorrow, I can perform the ceremony.
No, I'm good. And he takes a long look at you, Daisy. Oh, I know what I can get. Runs over to a small foot locker, opens it up, rummages around. You see weaponry dropping on the ground. You see vials bouncing off the stone. He's like, oh, good bottle. And just keeps moving around. You see him pick up something furry that just goes, oh, here it is. He walks over to you and gives you a wide belt.
I take
is.
the belts.
It is about 4 inches thick. It has 3 straps. It's all leather, silver buckles, and to either side, there appears to be sheaths.
You have totally touched my heart in a way that no one else ever has with your kindness and generosity. I love it. It's perfect. Thank you, kind sir.
It only takes about 2.5 inches to touch your heart. Anyway.
It's easier to go through the stomach than straight through. And my
anatomy.
boobs are bigger than 2 inches, son.
Come at the top. They're not up here, dear.
It's
Anyway,
because you're short.
yes, I
Russ-
am.
Rusty, is this flirting? This is not what I've read flirting to be. Is this flirting?
I don't know what this is.
It's disturbing, is what it is, kids. It's disturbing.
We gotta
It's okay.
go.
I'll come back and visit you when we're done.
Good luck with that. So, Riona, I'm assuming you're leading this group?
I thought Scrack was in charge.
Well, obviously, Scrack is only in charge of himself. That's big job. Well said.
Well, I think we're all in agreement. We want to find Max to get more answers about a tree and possible father location, right? Right, guys?
Yes, we need to find Stumpy.
Yeah, so we want to find Max. We're all in agreement. There's no leaders. We're all equal.
About that time, Haskar kind of goes,
No,
do you
You're
know-
not in charge, Haskar. You just keep an eye on her.
I don't want to be in charge. Riona. Come here.
I go over and I just kind of kneel down. What?
We still don't really know them, lass.
True. But less than a year ago, I didn't really know you either. But I took a chance and I trusted you.
You can't be lucky every time you make a choice.
I
Haskar,
haven't failed
We can
yet.
hear you, by the way.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I know you don't, but we are offering to help her. I'm not asking for anything. She showed us kindness. And I like a good adventure.
Haskar, what did I tell you the first day that we met? I told you you need to always remember hate is always foolish and love is always wise. So let's trust
No.
love.
That was the second thing you told me, lass. The first thing you said was, you should wear this hat. It'll bring out the color in your eyes.
Okay, that is the second thing I told you. And I'm going with my gut and I feel that we should do this. What's the worst that can happen?
We could die.
You killed me earlier, remember?
Prime example.
You did that. They didn't.
You were a fucking spider with the...
But I trust you, and I'm giving them a chance. You can stay if you want, if you're too scared to come.
Not scared, lass.
Ooh.
From the background, you hear, "Oh, burn!"
Now, you know,
Ooh.
Scrack and I have stayed here, even though we will probably both die if we're ever caught, so that we can help the two of you.
And you know, I know a good burn.
I'm trying to stay in character here, Mongo.
Let us earn your trust.
They haven't hurt us yet. I mean, you probably could kill everyone here. What do you... We're all good.
Well, obviously, I've killed you.
Mm-hmm. So you gotta make your way down the list.
So,
Asgard, you gotta trust me. I've seen your death. It's not by our hands.
And you could have left me to die. Instead, you threw me over your shoulder and carried me like a lump of potatoes when I technically could have walked on my own. So why did you save me if you don't, I don't know,
I
like
thought she'd
me?
be much lighter.
I am seriously, we're going to have words one of these days. I am not heavy, graceful, and an elf.
I walk over and I pat him on the back and I go, face it, Sir Dwarf. You're kind of stuck with us.
About that time, Davidos walks up to Haskar and goes, actually, not quite. I need someone to run an errand, if that's okay. I don't leave Riona.
You
Can we
trying?
all run the errand?
Well, I mean, it could be rather dangerous and goes in the opposite direction, but
Does it mean we can leave?
oh, I don't care what you do, because as soon as I step out that door, I am gone, and everything with me, packing it up. In fact, if you could all decide a little faster, that would be most gracious of you.
I am so amazed by your bravery.
We should be going.
I agree.
I need answers. And I feel like my best chance of finding those answers are with you lot. So consider me in.
We can always meet up later, Haskar. I mean, you trust Scrack, he'll keep me safe. And Torsten's a man of the Lord. I don't even think he can do anything with women.
Well, a lord.
That sure
Just agree. Just agree.
that sure is a very interesting assumption, Riona.
Oh, don't all men of the Lord get their cut off? I read a book about it.
As anatomically correct as a little girl's doll.
We'll discuss that at a more opportune time.
Let's go. And I head towards the what was the stained glass window.
Okay. As you go through the little hallways and back into the main sitting room, you can look around and see some of the items in the room, the furniture, the books, the vials and the knickknacks. Almost all have a kind of an ethereal look about them.
Yeah, we gotta go. I think this place is not long for this world.
I hate
Are
to
Hall and
ask,
Oaks up
but
there?
exactly. Where are the llamas?
And my cart.
Llamas are there. He's like, once you go down these steps, they are going to retract, and that will be that for accessing what is left of my home. But your cart is down there, and
All of our equipment?
Sure, I mean,
You
anyway,
took all the barrels, didn't you, Mr. Busby?
not all of them, a few of them.
Did you take the 5 I promised?
I did.
Did you take more than the 5 I promised out of the 12 I had?
Maybe. I didn't know if you were coming back for them.
How many did you take, Mr. Busby?
All but one.
Can I please have some of them back, Mr. Busby?
Let's
Gold
just
carries a
go.
lot easier than barrels.
Well, are you going to give us some gold for the extra barrels? It would help us on the road.
I've already given you things. I don't really.
How about a trade? I reach in corset and I pull a tiny pocket-sized book.
Good Lord, how much do you carry in that corset?
It's quite amazing how much I can fit in there. I even fit a gnome. Would you like a ride?
I'm good. Thank
I
you.
highly recommend it.
I hand him the little
Do
book.
not swing that way or anyway, so I'm good.
Very tiny notebook. And when he flips through it, it's all handwritten poems. And on the front is the quote that she has, and it's written not in her handwriting, it's not written in her father's handwriting, and it's written very feminine handwriting.
Okay.
It's the only book she has left, and she's giving it to him.
Do you explain that to him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Book of poems that I've had since I was a child.
He takes the book from your hands and opens it up to see the handwriting. And he's just silent.
Trade? I know you'll keep it safe. Man of knowledge.
After a moment, without going through any of the rest of the book, just looking at the inside leaf, his eyes meet yours, and there are unshed tears. Closes it, grabs your hand, puts the book in your hand. Never part with something so precious.
I just wanted to remind you. You know, favorite last line, laughed hard, run fast, be kind. Pretty sure you've heard those words before.
Never could quite live up to them, but yeah. Walks over, presses one of the stones in the fireplace, and a stone beneath it, a larger stone beneath the smaller one that he presses, slides forward, and it has a bag. Pulls the bag out, walks up to you. You're going to need things if you're going to go. Puts the bag into your hand. You can hear the clanking sounds. You have about 100 gold.
Just start shoving it into the little corset, trying to cinch it.
It's like the TARDIS in there. Anyway,
I open up the map real quick and I go, oh, by the way, do you have a direction it should be going to be looking for a friend?
yes, let me show you. And about that time, you hear a what sounds like the wind howling through a small opening, and a origami bird flutters into existence. And he looks up, surprised, reaches up, snatches it out of the air.
That is a neat trick. You should teach me how to do that one day.
I didn't do this.
Oh.
He starts unfolding the bird. It screams. No, just kidding.
It's a howler. Run for your lives.
You just killed it.
He's being disassembled.
He starts reading it. And as he looks up at Riona, he goes, and then you see his hands turn black. His lips go gray and the outside of his lips turn black as his face begins to sink in. He starts to fall backwards. And we're going to take a break.
No, I killed Mr. Busby.
You did. It's all your fault.
Oh God.
We know.
I shared.
Hi, my name's Rusty. Allow me to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a forest gnome. I'm approximately 3.5 feet tall. I have sandy blonde hair and gray eyes. I'm always immaculately dressed, topped off with my signature hat. I enjoy long walks on the beach and talking about my crazy conspiracy theories.
My character, Riona Hyrath, is a human who lives on a little farm outside of Jessup's Nest. She grew up on this farm with her father her entire life. It's always been just the two of them. But a few years ago, he was called to go fight in a war and hasn't returned yet, sending letters whenever he gets a chance. With him gone, Riona has to pick up the mantle and take charge, caring for all the animals on the farm, giving a little special care to her two favorite llamas, Hall and Oats. Over the years, she learned how to crochet and knit as well as make her own yarn. Using her skills, she would sell her products in town, and with any spare coins she could muster, she would buy books. These books told her about adventures outside of the little town she lived in, and she's always wanted to go on her own adventure. But tending to the farm and caring for the house is now her job, and she's content with her job. It's her lot in life, spending her days doing her chores, reading, and waiting for her father to come home. Riona couldn't ask for more.
Dason Stormson, or Daisy to her friends if she had any, left the military because that was a bad decision on her part. Now she traipses around looking for shinies to add to her collection. Unfortunately, however, she did run afoul of the local Thieves Guild, which left her tied to a post facing a very hungry-looking owlbear. But that owlbear spoke her name. Now, they are the best of friends.
When you first look at Torsten, you'll probably notice that his face looks like it hurts all the time. And it does. Torsten had just taken the Oath of Tyr to join the priesthood as an acolyte with a wish to become a full cleric. Then the band of demons attacked. In his zealousness, Torsten painted his face in the pattern of the war clerics and set about to keep his family safe with his faith. Torsten was taken by the raiding demons, tortured at their camp, and given a gift by the demon leader. The once woad-colored face paint Torsten wore is now an abyssal scar burned into his flesh that will never heal. He was sent back to the Chantry the next day so the people could see the punishment for having faith in goodness, but it had the opposite effect because Torsten would not cry. He did not wince or shy away when the people saw him. He simply told them that it was his hope and faith in their God of justice that brought him through the darkness, and his scars are proof that hope can endure. Not knowing if his family is dead or alive, his hope and faith will only continue to grow as he awaits the chance to see them again, either in this life or the next.
As Carbone split her hair, Fiery built a hook. I'm a stonemason by trade, fire by circumstance. I don't give much of a damn for anyone, except for to pay me for my trade. With the exception of Riona. She's a good kid. I fought in wars. For my troubles, I got a scar across my right side of my face and throat. That's the reason I talk the way I do. Which is hardly at all. I'm done.
There we go.
And we're back already. Woo!
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Are we
Yeah.
really back?
I mean, most of you.
I'm front.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I'm a little to the left at the moment.
Oof.
All right.
I'm right where I belong, on top.
All right. Let's get the hell out of this damn tree.
Well, first,
can we attend to the dying gnome first?
hold on. He was describing him as dying. I would like to grab the dying gnome.
Okay. So as he's turning gray and his lips and fingers turning black, his face and the rest of him, it seems to be just he's basically turning into jerky, is where he's dehydrating rapidly.
Is there any stopping this?
I'm not touching him.
I'm touching him. I'm grabbing him and pulling him into me.
Okay. You
That's not smart.
You manage to grab him as he's falling backwards.
Mhm.
The note that was in his hand begins to turn from a light yellow shade of parchment to darker and then more of a brown, and then starts to curl in on itself and flake away.
Yeah, we need to get out of here. If Busby dies, we have no idea this whole tree warren thing might just turn into solid tree.
Holding the gnome and running out.
Is his mouth open?
His mouth is open. He was in the middle of saying something when he started falling over. He is he's I'm not dead yet. But yeah, he's looking really hurt as veins of black are going up his hands and arms.
Okay. First, I'm going to I can't remember which one undoes poisonings. Shit. Hang on, which one of my spells undoes poisonings?
Lesser restoration.
Is it lesser restoration?
I think it's lesser restoration that does the diseases, curses, and poisons. I wouldn't know. I'm just running down the stairs holding Busby, and I cast healing word on him while he's in my hands.
Okay, go for it.
8 points of healing, if it does anything.
Okay. So as you are holding on to this rapidly deflating gnome, you see as his eyes begin to roll in the back of his head, you cast this and you see a spark of life in his eyes glow green, and they focus ever so slightly on you. And as you are running, are you going out the window?
Out wherever that door thing was, where the glass window, because he said the llamas and everything were downstairs.
Yeah.
I'm rushing after her. Wait.
I'm listening to Scrack. Scrack said the house is going to close now.
I'm trying to get a hand on him to cast lesser restoration and remove.
I'm not very fast. You can catch me.
Yeah, I'm hustling Rusty and Daisy. I'm just scooping them up, and we got to get out of this house.
I'm reaching towards the fireplace as he does, hoping to hit another stone.
Okay. Big sleight of hand.
This will go well.
Split the party. Humans out.
17.
17. Roll a d6 and let me know what you get.
Things are happening.
Yeah.
4.
A 4. Can't believe I wrote this down. Okay.
I can't
On
believe
the
this
off
may have
chance.
worked.
So as everybody begins being preoccupied with the dying gnome, you see them running out and you're like, and you run over to the fireplace and start just slamming your hands against different stones. And one of them goes as it slides inward.
Yeah, I'm grabbing him. And he's not going anywhere
Spikes
into the tree.
As it slides inward, the mantle portion, the wooden mantle that goes across, you see the front was just a facade as it slides a little bit out of the way.
As you were grabbed from behind by an owl bear.
I want
Skill
you
check.
to
I
Go
love
for
Go Wiggle.
dexterity.
Does he make a dexterity or me?
Both of you.
All right.
Wiggle, Rusty, wiggle.
21.
Jeez.
Oh, and by the way, he rolls a 7. Sorry, I'm using my portent.
Oh, I rolled a 10.
Close
I
enough.
guess it's a 7.
So as Scrack is trying to scoop him up in his big owlbear paw, Rusty almost does a forward roll and ends up landing on his feet, same place as he was. It was very, very majestic and acrobatic. Nobody saw it. You reach up to where the mantle is and you slide it further, and there is a silver hilted sword in a scabbard. The handle is gold filigree, and there is a red gem in the pommel.
Yoink.
This thing's probably bigger than you are.
No, it's actually a short sword size. So
Oh,
it's
there you go.
Just a rusty size.
You just
Aw.
steal the sword of
almost. Yeah.
Bodrick Gryffindor.
I grab it and run out the door.
Which I've slowed down enough for Torsten to reach over and touch Busby.
I'm sorry, Torsten. Did you say Roderick Piffendor?
Yes, Bodrick Gryffindor.
Oh,
Yeah.
anyway. But yes,
Robbing this guy blind right up until the end.
I at least tried to barter with him. I was going to trade my book of poems for
Riona,
gold.
as you are clutching him to you and running, he, in a very dried out and cracked voice, find Karis de Boer. Karis, Keris, capital D-E, capital B-O-R.
Or
Karis de Boer.
find Karis de Boer. Is he in this town?
Thorsten, are you catching up?
Oh yeah. I'm like
Yeah, I slow down to like.
remove disease and poison using lesser restoration.
Okay. The black veining slows and begins to recede. He does not like fill back out. He is extremely dehydrated, like he was becoming mummified as he was still alive.
I look at Riona and I go, I've always wanted to try this. And with his mouth open, I start slowly casting create water into his
Busby
body.
drowns.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm slowly casting it so as not to dump 10 gallons of water into his system.
I'm imagining it's like forming in your hand like a little fountain, and you're just like this.
I'm just making a stream come
And
out of
then
my
it
hand.
geysers.
Into
You
his
see
mouth.
his stomach swell and burst. But yeah, as you are going down the tree, you make it to the bottom. There are people still out there and about because their home was basically attacked by something that they couldn't quite understand. Something made of balls. But they're trying to pick up the pieces. There's still glass being picked up and wood trying to be replaced, or the windows of the shops being boarded up. But Hall and Oates are there. Hall, wide-eyed, chittering, nervous. Oates, he's just sitting there.
My good boys. I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna lay Busby in the back of the cart because he obviously cannot walk. And I crawl into the back of the cart and I tell everyone, we need to go. Point me in a direction.
I
Are you
hold
telling
up
Busby?
I hold up the
yeah.
map. I hold up my map for Busby. I'm like, you think you can point the direction we need to go, buddy?
Karis DeBoer. Point to Karis DeBoer.
Oh. So his eyes kind of roll from Riona's face over to Torsten. You see him kind of shudder a little bit. Raises one emaciated hand and puts a fingertip just at the base of the mountain range to the northwest.
That's where we're going.
And I cast Cure Wounds on him as
Okay.
well. And that's gonna give him 6 points of HP back.
Okay.
I'm just waiting down there for Scrack, Daisy, and the thief Frosty to come on down. Mind you, I don't know him as a thief. I know him as the prophet.
Hey,
Uh,
Rusty's coming on down because the price was right.
This is right.
and I've got Daisy, and I'm heading out.
I'm running out, stuffing the sword into my bag.
I'm riding on the back of an owl bear having the time of my life.
So as you're waiting, you see Rusty desperately trying to stuff something into his little bag. You see Haskar hefting his maul as menacingly as possible. You see Scrack barreling down the stairway, and Daisy on the back. Woo!
Honestly, I'm just imagining her on like, it's one of those paintings of the woman in the bikini riding on a dragon, but instead it's Daisy riding on the back of an owl bear. Just he's
Heck
painted
yeah.
on a van.
We need
That
a
is
panel
my next
down.
tattoo.
That's my next
Um,
tattoo.
yeah. Thankfully, she still has her top on. So
Well, we
now.
can't have everything.
can't have everything. But yeah, as the people see you guys running down, they're a little concerned at first because the last time you guys ran out of there, something attacked the city. Scrack, they do see you, and there's a few screams, and people start scattering, trying to run away.
We just take off to the north.
Busby's in the cart.
I yell, "Hurry! Before it wakes up! Run!"
God.
One person is he stops in his tracks, turns around, just pale, wide-eyed. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. And he just runs.
We got to get out of here now.
He pointed north. We're going towards those mountains, Scrack. If you can carry Daisy. Rusty, get in the cart. I'm sorry, Torsten, you'll have to run. Because they can only hold me and 2 little gnomes in this cart.
Not the first time I've chased a girl.
Esker kind of nudges you in the ribs. He's like, don't slow us down, huh?
Wouldn't think of it.
And as he starts loping in a very rhythmic, long stride for a dwarf, it's very odd to see how fluid and fast he's moving. But you can tell this is someone who definitely, during the course of whatever training he got in the military, found his rhythm and speed for a long run.
Well, I catch up with the with the front of the cart, and like mid stride, I do look over at Riona, and I'm like, you do know that there's multiple types of clerics, right?
You guys are healers, right?
Healers, yes. Eunuchs, no.
What's a eunuch? I thought you guys were all priests.
Torsten, do you want me to explain this to her later in private?
Uniki snips it.
Let's just say Haskar isn't the only person wielding a giant blunt object.
On that note,
And she looks super confused.
and I laugh as I let you pull ahead of me.
I'm gonna lean down and just kind of cradle Busby and say, "Who sent the letter?" See if he can speak to me and talk to me.
He's looking a little bit better, but he's definitely hurt. He, with one hand clenched, raises it up towards you. Riona, come closer, my child. Closer. Too close. Personal space. I sent your note.
Not yet. That's what's gonna happen. I lose my temper, and without knowing so, I cast Thunderwave
On whom?
No.
in the vicinity. I don't know where it's going to land, but I angrily scream out loud like a banshee fucking pissed off.
Roll a d4. 1 is
Sorry,
north,
guys.
2 is south, 3 is east, 4 is west.
2.
2. Okay. So as you are trying to make it out of this area, and he says he sent your note. You asked him to send a note.
I did. And it clicks in my head who sent that note back. And I just hit harder than I've ever hit in this campaign with a 14 damage, and it's Thunderwave. So basically.
So as you guys are traveling north, you look over your shoulder and just kind of in a moment of pain. Nobody's in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
There is Rusty in the back of your wagon. There's Scrack, Daisy, Torsten, and Haskar running behind.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to make a dexterity save or
A
dexterity save. I'm sorry, Constitution.
Constitution 14.
Roll Constitution save.
It's only 14, guys. I love you all so much.
Why is she malfunctioning again?
I'm going to use my
go Scrack, go Scrack.
19.
I have a 10, but I'm on the back of Scrack. Does that help?
I would say that you and Scrack can share.
All right, I rolled a 19.
Okay.
I'm going to use my portent to roll a 12 plus 3.
Oh, jeez.
I actually got a 21, so I'm good.
We roll for Haskar. Oh no, Haskar got a natural 1.
No, I'm killing everybody. I killed Busby. I'm killing Haskar.
You definitely knocked him on his behind.
Oh yeah.
14 points of damage.
As you kind of grit your teeth, you feel the hot, stinging tears escape the corners of your eyes and roll down your cheeks. You inhale, and everything is bitter and just full of spite. You scream behind you because you don't want to scream in this elderly gnome's face. And as you do, you see Torsten kind of, and you see Rusty duck down. You see Daisy and Scrack kind of clamp onto each other a little bit, hunkering. And you see Haskar just, what?
So I just read it. It's emits a thunderous boom that can be heard 300 feet away. Even if you succeed, you take half damage, but you don't get pushed 10 feet away.
Right.
Sorry, guys. I love you all.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes 7 damage no matter what.
Yep.
Yeah.
So as you all take your 7 damage and Haskar takes his 14.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
Haskar.
The buildings and people in the vicinity, you see people being flung left and right, windows which are quite a rarity for a craftsman to make as many windows, shattering. You see poor animals just losing their steps and falling all over themselves like they have roller skates on. You done screwed everybody up, Royona.
I double back for Haskar. I'm like, it's time to go. It's time to go.
I wonder what his health is.
Last I saw it was a 21.
Okay, I didn't kill him.
So you've got a very upset looking Haskar with some blood coming out of his ears.
My bad, guys. But
We admire
Riona-
the commitment to role playing.
yeah,
Right.
Riona's a little bit of a short fuse right now, especially when she just found out what her dad did.
Speaking of, Busby's looking at you. One eye is trying to cross, the other one's staying focused. But he's like,
As I was saying, I wrote to your father. I don't know who sent this.
and he opens his hands, and the paper is almost just degraded into just chunks of scattering parchment, but you can see where there were words
Mhm.
are now scorch marks.
Someone knows I'm looking for him.
So it's my fault.
I mean, if you're willing to take the blame.
I boop his nose and cast healing word again.
His nose crumbles to dust.
Mhm.
What?
7 points of healing to the boop of the nose.
Okay. So his bulbous nose is now once again bulbous. It was kind of like Gonzo's nose from the Muppets, and now it's a full nose again. But yeah, he tries to sit up a little bit, and he's like,
Where's Haskar?
He's being carried by Torsten now, which she's looking down ashamed. Nope.
So Haskar is not really excited about being manhandled by Torsten. He's kind of using his maul as a cane, trying to keep up. He kind of like shoves Torsten off of him. Don't touch me there.
Okay.
Sorry.
He has a thing about being touched.
I can tell.
He has wandering hands.
I'm not that kind of cleric either.
My hair doesn't part in the middle. Anyway.
I'm a cleric, not a priest.
Right. So he kind of starts running
lost.
alongside. Busby tells you to stop the cart for a moment.
I slow down, Hall & Oates, and stop the cart.
He can see that Haskar is not doing very well, and he's still not doing very well. But he gets down gingerly and turns back to Riona, holds out his hand, and hands you what's left of whatever parchment was in his hand.
Magic has a fingerprint. Everyone's is unique. I don't know who sent this. Your father is not a user of magic.
That you know of.
That I know.
I don't know anything anymore. Less than 48 hours ago, my father was a farmer on a farm and we had a happy life. And now he used to have a secret draft and he fought trees, and you somehow were a friend of his and you knew my mom. So yeah, I don't know.
Come here.
Just kneel down next to him.
Puts his entire hand on your face.
Shut up. It's a lot to take in. I get it. I'm going to give you something. And then I'm going to borrow your friend. He's going to take me to Desdemona. She will help me and him. And he can catch up with you.
He releases your face and then reaches under his clothing and loosens the leather strapping to the necklace, pulls it over his head.
Still has the ability to send and receive. Just in case.
I take it and I hug him. Just hit.
13 hit points damage.
You might want to hurry back to your house. I've seen looters heading that way.
As you say this, you kind of point back there, giggling a little bit, and he goes,
What house?
and as you turn around, you can see that of the 3 giant trees that could be seen from around the city, one is now missing.
Well, never mind.
I reach into my pocket, I pull out a little bit of yarn, and with my Druid craft and yarn, I twist and braid a bracelet. I wrap it around his wrist, tie it, and say, I will come back for that and return this, and we'll trade. Taking his leather necklace and I put it on, and now he has that bracelet.
Okay. So as you craft this little bracelet out of vines and
Some
yarn, you see the very bright green, fresh vines winding around the yarn. Little sprouts. And then 2 small red thorns.
I put that in the back of my brain for later, hoping no one noticed that, and I tie it onto his wrist, and I say, when I can see you again, we'll trade back. Don't hurt my dwarf.
Not even a little bit?
Not even a little bit. I boop his nose again, and I go over to Haskar, and I just, without any consent, just scoop him up into a big ass hug.
Oh, lass.
You come find me.
After a couple of seconds of just holding him tightly, his arms have been down by his side. Finally, you feel the heavy hand on your back.
That's when I know to let go. And I just, you come find me. But you right now, you got to take care of Mr. Busby.
Are you at least taking the llamas?
Yes, I'm going to take Hall and Oates and the owlbear. Daisy's nice. She'll keep me safe. And if Rusty bugs me again, I'll just shove him in my corset. He can't do anything. And then we have a holy man.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm just looking at Haskar like,
You know, you can always trust a church. They're good people.
No.
He puts his hand on your shoulder and says,
Oh, much naivety.
he looks at you in your eyes and says,
I'll find you soon.
I know you will. And reach into my bag. Bright ass pink hat.
Oh. Plus, there's something called insult to injury.
Then you don't want this as I'm pulling out a long pink scarf, wrapping it around him.
Okay. All right.
I think he looks quite handsome.
It'll keep you warm with all this ice going around.
He doesn't remove it, but he is drawing himself up to his full dwarven height, like a proud, strong warrior, bedecked in a long, extra long pink scarf. I'm imagining it's like 9 feet.
Yes, I could like go like 3 or 4 times around him.
Draped off the shoulder a little bit. This pink knit hat that's flopping to the side. Soon.
I'll be good. I promise I won't do anything. I promise I'll think before I do.
Turns to Scrag.
Don't fuck up.
I won't.
Looks at Rusty.
Look, I know we didn't get off on the right foot, but I have something for you. Reach into my pocket. Just to remember me by.
Silent applause.
Kind of looks at you and goes, and with that, he and Davos began walking back towards the town. You guys are still in the town, but
We're making our way north towards the mountains.
making your way north.
Making our way north town. Oh, yes.
Hey, Riona, would you mind if I sit in the front of the wagon this time?
Be my guest.
Thank
It's not a very big wagon. Think like tiny cart with a little bench that I usually sit on. And the back has just enough room for such and such. Like if I sat in it, I think Daisy could barely fit in there with me.
One of the nice things
Quit
about
saying I
your,
have a fat ass, woman.
No, I'm saying my cart is a fucking tiny cart. And I have a fat ass.
You say you're a half elf. You are tiny.
Mm-hmm.
so as
I'm curvy.
you've started going more and more on trips to town with all your wares, your wagon has a nice little feature. It has 2 rings set in the side so that you can slide your shepherd's crook in.
I don't have it, do I?
Yeah, I never said you didn't.
I was thinking about it. I'm like, when did I? Yeah, I got it back. I was trying to remember after the, dying, waking up. It's been a lot. Okay, yeah. So just kind of sitting there. I'll let Rusty go up front to, I don't know, stare at llama butt. We're just heading north.
As you begin leaving the town, you see a few of the townsfolk noticing you and immediately noticing the enormous owlbear following behind you and rushing off to get away or to grab a brasser. Rusty, or I don't know, Rusty Scrack, are you hiding at all or trying to?
Right now, no. I'm just being ridden by a half elf. So I'm hoping that I just get passed off as, a mount under control. So, but I pick up the pace because we got to get out of here.
Okay.
Trouble follows me.
Yeah, we're not being slow.
Yeah, Hall and Oates, they know that when they're hooked up, they are purposely being used and they have a stride that you're used to. It's not fast, but it's brisk. Torsten, you're able to keep up. Rusty, you're just enjoying the sights. You see a couple of brassers discussing something. One of them happens to be a more decorated, older brasser. And as they're looking in a book, he kind of looks up at this procession. Oh, crap. You recognize that book. You zeroed out your balance in it.
Don't make eye contact.
Is my favorite dragonborn with him?
No, he is not, unfortunately.
Darn, I want to say goodbye.
So he is holding the book like open?
Yep.
I cast grease underneath him.
You cast grease and what?
Underneath him.
Underneath. Okay.
So it's a Dex 14 saving throw, or he falls prone.
All right. So as you are you doing this on the sly, or are you doing it open?
No, I'm not trying to be very subtle about it.
Yeah. So the guy looks up and he sees this procession of oddities, and as his eyes lock on that familiar hat, his eyes go wide a little bit as you finish the last bit of your incantation. And as he starts to step forward and say something, you see him go, and his foot slips out from underneath him, and he goes face first into the cobblestones. The book slides out of his hand.
Someone grab that book.
We're still moving, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Still moving.
Okay.
Where was he in relation to us?
He was off to your right, probably about 35 feet.
All right.
Easy enough to see someone that you recognize.
All right.
I'm gonna
swerve over there.
Oh, okay. Well, if you're gonna do that,
I'm just laughing because that's amazing. And
because I had an idea, but no, you go right ahead.
All
I
right,
swerve over there and grab the book and hand it up to Daisy.
thank you.
So as he is face planted, his head comes up a little bit, and you see he's missing the front two teeth, and blood is just coming out. And he's like, "Oh, oh!" The other
We can never
bastards
come
helping
back
him
here
up.
again.
Yeah, it's an improvement, and I run off.
Oh God, he hears the owlbear say it's an improvement. What an insult.
Their eyes go wide. I mean, he's already shocked with pain of falling for no reason that he can discern. He sees an owlbear with a half elf riding it, scoop up the book that he was just holding, and mention that it's an improvement. This is not a good day. And as you romp off, once you get out of the city proper, the land goes into more farmland. You see a few familiar faces, Riona. Daisy,
Yes.
it's feeling pretty good to get out of the city. You were feeling a little itchy. Can you roll a perception check for me?
I sure can. I don't see shit. I have an 8.
An 8. Okay.
Oh, boy.
So as you are riding on the back of Scrack, breathing in this fresher air, you your thumb goes to where you just jammed the sheathed blade into the front of your belt, and you start messing with it a little bit and move it from the front to your dominant hand side to the straps that are on the side of your new wide belt. And as you place it in there, before you can reach to tighten the straps around the sheath, they automatically cinch down onto the dagger's sheath.
I like this new toy. I wonder if it'll hold bigger things for me.
After a little bit, you're just getting your mind set. You start going through your list of things that you normally carry, and you find that on your hip, you used to carry a bag of ball bearings. You realize that bag is empty.
Shit. And
Just conjures up some images, doesn't it?
yeah, like being shot in the leg and being chased by a big, and I need to smack Busby because he fucking sent that after us. Yeah. Not good memories.
My thought was of a eunuch.
And then, a lot of boxes. A lot of fucking boxes.
I'm gonna put on Busby's necklace while we're going.
Okay.
Well, Daisy's like, what the fuck?
There is, as you put the necklace on, it is chilly to the touch. At first, you just think it's maybe the ball is made of glass, metal claw. It doesn't quite seem to lose its icy nature. And Riona, the dagger that you were given, what are you doing with that?
I am twiddling it, trying to figure out how to handle a dagger, in the sense that I like pull it out. I'm just like, like stabbing air.
You're sitting right next to Daisy, though, right?
She's on top of Scrack.
Oh, okay.
So she can see me just like stabbing
That's
the
right,
air.
that's right.
We can do some fighting practice when we stop for the night's rest, if you'd like.
I mean, I gotta learn how to fight, I guess.
But don't cut yourself while you're playing with your big knife.
Or me.
Wouldn't stab you, Rusty, on purpose.
Uh-huh.
When she stabs you, she'll be standing in front of you, looking you in the eye.
She's
As
not
her eyes
wrong.
glow. So yeah, you have made it out of the city. You're traveling across the lands. Torsten, need an investigation check from you, please, sir.
A 19.
19. Your time learning scripture is not the only thing that you learned while you were studying. You also studied cartography. You studied alchemy a little bit.
Let's say I'm a Viking.
Yeah, you have studied throughout your life many different things, and while it is not exactly a map that you would normally read, which would show you flow charts, literally flowing waves and ocean,
Trade winds and all that jazz.
yes, it's easy enough for you to read, and you figure it's going to be about a day and a half of travel. But yeah,
Well, then I want to pick out a good stopping spot for us.
Sure.
About halfway for us to set up camp?
At this time, it is getting close to dusk. In this area, between Jessup's Nest and the kingdom proper, just to the east, it is mostly rolling hills and plains. A lot of the farmland has taken the land and shaped it to be more plowable, easier to have agriculture from. So there's not a whole lot of large boulders or craggy hills or mountains. So it's all very gentle slopes, all being used. Some of it is tall wheat fields. You see there's some corn in the distance, but anything that looks like a good place to be, you have all open area aside from those tall patches of agriculture.
Well, we're gonna want to sleep close to the main road. We're gonna want to stick close to the main road, not wander too far.
Okay. After traveling for a little bit, you stop seeing farmhands. You stop seeing travelers for the most part, because again, it's the fall. What harvest there is has been taken or is in the process. Any festivals that might be going would be more towards where you came from. Anyone who is traveling for those would have already done so. The road is fairly barren of travel, aside from the usual little bit of people trying to sell their wares here and there. Very comfortable. The grass is still pretty thick. You are able to make your camp anywhere you like.
Excellent. I'd find a nice off-road side clearing about maybe 15 feet away from the road itself. Far enough where the mud from the where mud from a wayward horse isn't going to splash on our tents, but close enough where other travel buyers can see us and be aware that we're there, so that there's no mistaking identities.
Okay. Do you have tents?
That's not really my forte.
I have a cart full of blankets.
I have a tent that is part of my packs.
I was just to say I have my bedroll and my blanket, and I prefer sleeping under the stars anyway. I have a tinder box to start a fire, so we're good to go.
I could do that.
I was about to say, and we can also start fire by starting fire. So
I don't need a tent.
we will be sleeping as the gods intended.
In a pile of llamas? As Riona's, as I'm leading my llamas away from the cart to get them all comfy on a patch of grass.
I mean, there's a reason why the llama is so warm and covered in fur and wool, as alpacas. I don't know if you call it wool.
I call it wool.
Okay, there you go. Alpaca wool.
Llama wool is different.
How dare you not know that?
Sorry.
Not all camelids are the same.
It's true. So Daisy, you make a tent?
No, Nah, I'll hang out under the stars.
All right.
I go out looking for, little, go looking for something to make a fire with, a
Okay.
campfire.
Easy enough to do. Even in this area, there are no real trees, but you do find on occasion some scrub brush. You can pull up some roots of past crops. They're all dried out. Easy enough to get a fire started. As you have a nice, comfortable fire going, and you set up your different areas around it, the sun finally dips and the sky is emblazoned with bright burning pinholes in the ebon of the night.
The fireflies.
I hear that that's the spirits of dragons looking down upon us.
Really? I thought
As I say that, I'm kind of absentmindedly pulling the sword out of my bag, sitting next to the campfire with it, and just spending a few minutes looking it over and focusing on it really hard. Virtual casting identify.
I was always told it was the Fae that passed on keeping an eye on the world.
Really? I thought it was balls of gas burning billions of miles away.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, I'm sure it is, but when you're a child, fairy tales are so much better.
You mean Fae tales?
Which, of course, I know it's not burning balls of gas. That's just silly. That's the playground of the gods up there. See, I can show you. And I start using my finger to trace out the different constellations of gods. And there's Thor's hammer, and there's Tyr, the one-armed god, and there's Fenrir, the one that bit off Tyr's arm. And
Love that wolf.
I'm off in my own little world, laying on llamas as Rusty's ritual casting his spell. I'm ritual casting Speak with Animals, so I can talk to Oates again. Just tell him about everything that happened, what I'm going through, while playing with my father's dagger, just sitting there like.
realizing no one's paying attention to myself and Daisy. I while pointing at the stars and stuff, just laying back and just kind of scooch a little closer.
I'll
Rusty.
curl up with him. Help
Rusty,
keep warm and cuppy.
as you are fiddling around with this blade, and you cast Identify, you said?
Yep.
Okay. You're holding on to it, and a moment or two later, you can almost see the world around you dim, but the sword itself glows brighter, a nice cool blue. As you're staring at the sword, you can hear the whispers. And you hear the wind in your ears blow gently. And as you have a shiver go down your spine, you have a frost brand.
You see Rusty's eyes go very wide, and he slowly slides the sword back into his bag.
Chaos gnomes.
You are a heap of trouble.
So much. Riona, have you been holding onto the dagger the whole time?
Yes, just twirling it, and once I'm officially done ritual casting Speak with Animals, I'm just talking at Hall and Oates, telling him everything that happened, what I found out, how I lost my temper.
As you're doing this, you're sitting on the ground. They're sitting there with you, and you get to the point where you tell them about your temper and how you're having issues, and you feel the firm, leathery foot of Oates up on your lap as he looks at you and goes, "My dear Riona."
Hi, best friend.
How long have we been together?
I got you when I was 3, 4,
And
almost 20.
You're about to be 22, if I calculate the seasons correctly.
Birthday is coming up.
What would you like for your birthday?
Same thing I want every year as my dad.
That's very sweet. But in lieu of your father, the rest of you just hear her talking as you hear, "Meow, meow."
I want a new book.
Would you like me to keep my eyes and ears peeled for one?
Yes, you're
I'll
smart.
happily get it for you.
You know, I believe you. I believe you would find me the perfect book.
Well, I'm glad you have so much faith in me.
As I'm just stroking Hall, who's just like,
Yeah. His tongue's hanging out the side.
Yep. That's my good boy.
Not a brain in his head.
Nope, but that's the best part about him. Yeah, no, I've been sitting there the whole time, scratching one dagger in the other hand, talking to Oates, telling him how I want a book for my birthday.
Okay. So as you're telling Oates this, you're holding the dagger the whole time, correct?
Mm-hmm. Just like absent-mindedly twirling it with my free hand.
Okay. As
not as good as Daisy, though.
Not as good as Daisy. As you are twirling it around, you almost drop it. As you fumble a little bit, you grab it. The sheath comes undone a little bit. And as you are trying to catch it, your thumb gets cut slightly by the blade. And then it makes sense to you why you were given this dagger. It's not just a dagger. It has a feature to it. You start to feel a little upset in your stomach. You get more and more queasy. And as you start to sweat and you feel like your body is filled with warm sand, you realize that this blade, the metal of the blade is turning a green with this viscous fluid that begins coating it.
Poison blade. Got it. Just very gingerly put it back in its sheath, hold my thumb, walk over to Torsten, and hold out my thumb to him. Just the tiniest little cut. I'm afraid to lick it. I might vomit on you.
Do I see like the veins and stuff turning black as the poison is taking effect?
So as she walks over to you very sweetly, holding out her thumb, you see this ghostly visage with her hair flames and skin bright white and eyes black as night, reaching out for you. Just for a moment. And then it's her just holding her thumb out, going, I cutted myself.
It hurts.
Yes. Okay. I lesser restoration on your thumb to remove disease and poison.
Did you see that?
You didn't see that.
Are you sure?
Only Torsten saw that.
Thank you, God. Thank you, Mr. Sir Priest. Blessed be.
Stop
Well,
it.
he did drop me to the ground when he sat up.
Riona, sit with me for a second. I feel like I need to inform you on a few things.
Am I getting a history lesson? Aren't we supposed to be going to bed?
We can do that later.
Hi, Daisy. Because she just sits me next to you. It's like, hi.
Followers of Tyr, my people, we're warriors. We're Vikings. Do you know what Vikings are? Vikings are sailors, raiders. They my family came to this continent from the north on ships and came and we've we tend to take over. Now myself, I decide to follow our gods and use that power for healing and for justice. But we are a warrior race of people. We understand that life is short, and we understand that the pompousness of the clergy is not our thing.
Oh, you're not a priest.
No, I am a cleric. I wield the power of a god. But I'm not a priest.
Can you bless things?
Not really my forte. I can cure you if you get hurt, but I can also set things many ablaze. I'm a follower of light.
Do you know what a druid is?
Yes.
Can you tell me what a druid is and what they do? Because I have no clue.
Druids are one with nature. They are children of the earth. They draw their power from the earth. Some can wild shape into of which we've seen you do. Some wild shape into different creatures. Some can affect the very moon above us.
Riona's just, I'm just going to sit there and I'm going to listen to his stories and find them super fascinating. But internally, they're just stories to her. She doesn't believe them.
Right.
She has to see it. She thinks these are just really good stories, like fairy tales.
All right.
Shouldn't that be Fey tales?
Yes,
Here?
right. That's right. Fairy tales.
I spin my tails until she gets droopy eyed and I during the stories I had already put Daisy's head back in my lap and was stroking her hair while telling the stories, and until we all just fall asleep in a heap.
I'm gonna go back to my llamas and heap up with them. Who's doing first watch? Or are we all just gonna go to sleep?
I'll do first watch.
I'll do it with him.
Giggity.
He wouldn't even notice.
I know.
All right. So as
That's a
Easy.
mental image I didn't need.
It's like a chihuahua on a Great Dane. So as Daisy feels her hair being stroked and her scalp being massaged a little bit, the warmth of her and the fire making her a little drowsy, making Torsten drowsy. Riona, you kind of rub your eye like, a kid that's been up too late waiting for Santa Claus. You stumble over, you have Hall and Oates. They are laying in their strange way they always lay. You hunker down between them, and soon the warmth of their bodies causes you to get even more drowsy, and you start closing your eyes and yawning until sleep finally catches you. Rusty and Scrack, you volunteered to take the watch.
Yep.
We're the only ones still awake.
Yep.
Yeah. Nighttime is that's my jam. So.
As you say this, Scrack, you are a little sleepy. You've been awake all day. You had a little bit of a nap, but not much.
Yeah. Still, we're out in the woods. Feels good.
Hey, can I tell you a secret?
Okay.
I found something when we were at Davidos's house, and I'll open my bag and ease out the Frostbrand sword. It's very magical.
Looks it.
It's you don't use swords, right? You just use your claws.
Swords are uncomfortable to hold.
Shame. I pull the blade out of the sheath just a little bit, and you see the blue glow to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's I identified it, and it's quite powerful. Probably more powerful than should be in my hands.
I'll take it from him. I am proficient with swords, but I don't tend to use them.
Considering your size and race, it'd probably be difficult to hold this.
Yeah. But so it's like an icy blade.
Well, I haven't used it yet. I used some magic on it, and it said it was a Frostbrand. I've heard that name, but I've never seen one.
Give it to Askar. When we see
Okay.
him next.
We'll see if he wants it.
Make good use of it.
It may be a short sword, but I'm not exactly a fighter.
Askar can use it.
Good advice. You are a sage beyond your years. I don't know how old you are.
I don't know how old I am either. I don't remember.
Maybe one day we could find out
Early
together.
life. That would be nice.
God, that's terrifying.
Scrack and Rusty, if you would make perception checks, please.
I roll an 18, and if it's cider smell,
17.
Okay. So, since you were taking watch, Scrack, it would be whatever you can do as far as your senses go.
Okay. So I rolled an 18. I get advantage, and which is good because my next roll was in that one. So, yeah, 18.
Okay, 18. All right. You hear the crickets.
Mhm.
You hear scurrying of little rodent feet. As you look up into the night sky, Rusty, you feel a sense of wonder and awe at this illusion that somebody has made. Because obviously this is not real. There can't be that many stars. And there's colors at night. Why are there colors at night? It should be black, right? Skrek, as you look up, you see as a shooting star skits across the night sky, and you feel a longing in your heart. A feeling that you have missed something in your life, a sense of freedom. Other than that, your watch is quiet.
Who should we wake up next?
Let's go wake up Torsten. Shamble over. Whack him with my paw a couple of times.
Harder, Daddy. I was what?
Get up.
It's
your turn.
Good evening, gentlemen. I guess it's my turn. Wonderful.
What's going on?
Oh, it's time for my watch. You
Oh.
stay asleep. You and Riona will take
Okay.
the last watch. How's that sound?
Okay. Night.
Yeah. I pat Torsten on the shoulder on the way by. Well, actually, probably on the hip, and use Vigilance Blessing. So for at least 1 hour, you have 300 feet of dark vision.
Cool. I also freshen up the fire while I'm at it, and
I will snuggle down into his spot.
you're gonna snuggle down in my spot next to Daisy. I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna open up my book and read the pages again, whatever, if anything new pops open or whatever. I'm just reading and rereading.
Okay. As you open your book, there's still very precious little that is written in it, some of which you can't even decipher yet. Written in a language that, even with all your training, still foreign.
So it's not written in Celestial.
It's not written in Celestial, no.
So you say I can speak the tongue of angels, the tongue of men, the tongue of dwarves, and the tongue of elves. Yet,
but as you read what you can, you know that just a day before, when these new writings took over this particular book, at first you couldn't read those either. With time, with some grace, and with good deeds, you'll probably be able to read it.
fair enough. No, I'm just staying vigilant, protecting my friends and such.
Okay. Make a perception roll, please.
These are always the best for me.
Always.
Yep, there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
8. I'm sorry, everybody. You're gonna die on my watch.
You know, dying in my sleep, not the worst way to go.
Not the worst way to go. It's quiet.
Too quiet.
The cracking of the fire.
Mm-hmm.
You do get advantage though, because you have the ability to see in the dark now
Oh,
for a short time.
Oh, that's a dirty 20 if
Nice.
we're doing an advantage.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, I'll take that.
Rusty gave you the ability to see past just the glow of the firelight.
Right.
So as you're sitting there, gazing out past the firelight, everything is in black, white, and shades of gray. It is eerily still. There's not even a breeze.
Hmm.
And that's when you realize how quiet it actually is. There's no sound of any animals, birds. Granted, it's at night, but you can still hear wildlife at night. Just the cracking of the logs on the fire.
No, I'm staying very heightened, looking for any extra movement.
As you scan, you can see in the far off distance the peaks that you're headed towards. Keep looking away. You can kind of see the palace. And while you can't see it, you know it's there, Jessup's Nest. It's to the west. And as you start getting into your own mind, you see it just for the briefest of moments. In the field of wheat, what looks like a little rustle. And then over there, slow movement. And as your eyes look around, gazing intently, you notice about 5 different areas in a crescent moon shape around you. Something is coming closer. And that's where we're going to leave it, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm all snuggly inside my llamas.
Phrasing.
I'm snoring and cuddled with Rusty, keeping him warm.
You're spooning.
It's like big spoon, little spoon, and I don't have a choice.
No,
Yeah,
see,
pretty much.
I'd say you're a little fork, but yeah, you're being the little spoon.
We're not forking.
Fuck you.
I don't even see how that would work.
Well, it was a fun night.
Until next weekend, our intrepid adventurers.
Like, share, hit that bell. I'm gonna just think about this all week.
Comment, subscribe. I'm gonna
Questions.
I'm gonna bleach wash my brain from Rusty mounting scrag.
That's not canon.
Okay,
Yeah.
no,
Phrasing.
It is now.
we're ending it now. Love you guys. Have a great week.
Bye.
Love you all.
Peace.